The training chamber vibrated with a low, threatening hum as the Void Reaper phased into existence before the assembled multi-species cadet unit. Lights dimmed slightly, alarms pulsed, and combat systems activated instantly. From the elevated observation platform, Combat Instructor Thralks, a hardened veteran who had survived over 30 major campaigns, watched closely as the trainees reacted. They moved exactly as trained, spreading out, taking defensive positions and preparing coordinated retreats. All of them, except one. Cadet Marcus Webb did not run. While the others repositioned, Marcus calmly checked the power level on his plasma rifle, adjusting his grip as the monstrous entity advanced. Thralks' voice thundered through the chamber's comm system, sharp and commanding. Cadet Webb, did you ignore the briefing? Void Reapers possess adaptive shielding. Your weapon cannot penetrate its defenses. Fall back immediately to the extraction zone. The creature looming ahead was both awe-inspiring and horrifying. Standing nearly 3 meters tall, it was a biomechanical nightmare, an engineered predator responsible for wiping out entire colonies along the outer rim. Its crystalline exoskeleton shimmered, constantly shifting colors as it analyzed threats. Every known energy weapon used by the Galactic Alliance, plasma, lasers, particle cannons, had proven ineffective. Each time it encountered a new frequency, its defenses adjusted instantly. Military tacticians had officially labeled Void Reapers as invulnerable to conventional firepower. Marcus did not respond to the order. Instead, he did something completely unexpected. He released his plasma rifle, letting it clatter onto the metallic floor. Then he reached down to his thigh and unclipped a weapon that looked absurdly out of place in such a high-tech environment. Thralks froze. "Is that a kinetic projectile device?" the instructor asked, his translator barely able to keep up with his disbelief. "Cadet, that relic belongs in a museum." Marcus remained calm as he chambered around. "It's called a gun, sir," he replied evenly. "Specifically a .45 caliber pistol. Earth design. Circa 1911. The Void Reaper sensed movement and charged forward, its shield cycling rapidly through defensive patterns, preparing for energy-based attacks. Its combat processors evaluated thousands of possible scenarios in a fraction of a second. None of them accounted for solid metal propelled by pure force. Marcus raised the pistol and fired. The sound cracked through the chamber, raw, loud, and strangely primitive compared to the sleek hum of advanced weaponry. He fired again. And then a third time. Each shot struck with brutal precision. The first round tore through a vulnerable pulse point where the Reaper's shield generator briefly fluctuated. The second shot obliterated its primary optic cluster, sending shards of crystalline matter scattering across the chamber floor. The third bullet punched deep into the creature's core, striking something essential within its processing center. The Void Reaper staggered. Its massive form twitched violently, adaptive systems scrambling to respond to a threat they had never encountered before. Then, with a final mechanical shudder, the creature collapsed in a heap of shattered armor and lifeless circuitry. An eerie silence settled over the simulation chamber. 23 cadets representing 15 different species stood frozen, staring at the fallen monster. No one spoke. No one moved. From above, Thralks stared at his instruments, checking them once, twice, then a third time. "There must be an error," he whispered. "That's impossible." The simulation parameters showed no malfunction. The Void Reaper's adaptive defenses were intact. The kill was legitimate. Marcus calmly ejected the magazine from his pistol, inspected the chamber, and secured the weapon in its holster. "Sir," he said respectfully, breaking the silence, "Void Reaper shields are designed to adapt to energy signatures and electromagnetic spectrums." He lightly tapped the holstered pistol. "But this doesn't use energy. It's just physics. Mass multiplied by acceleration. No spectrum to analyze. No signal to counter. Just metal moving really fast." Instructor Thralks descended from the observation deck, his 6 limbs carrying him swiftly across the floor. He stopped beside the fallen Reaper, examining the damage with intense focus. Then his gaze shifted to the crude human weapon, and finally to Marcus himself. "Your species still employs kinetic weapons?" he asked. "Some of us do, sir," Marcus replied. "Old habits die hard. This belonged to my grandfather. He carried it through 3 wars back on Earth." Marcus shrugged slightly. "He always said you don't need complicated technology when simple mechanics get the job done." Thralks' mandibles clicked, a sound his species made when amused. "The High Command has invested millions of credits into countering these creatures," he said. "Quantum shields, phase disruptors, dimensional weapons. He gestured toward the pistol. And you defeated it with technology over a century old. Marcus nodded. Cost about 350 credits, sir. Ammunition's cheap too. Murmurs rippled through the cadet ranks as the weight of the moment set in. Instructor Thralks turned to face the stunned cadets, his posture commanding immediate attention. Let this encounter serve as a lesson, he announced. Progress does not always equal superiority. Sometimes older methods remain effective precisely because they are too simple to anticipate or counter. He paused, allowing the words to sink in, then turned back toward Marcus. Your ancestors relied on these weapons during their evolution, Thralk said thoughtfully. They survived. They expanded. They dominated their environment. Marcus smiled faintly. We're kinda stubborn like that, sir. Stubborn, Thralks repeated, testing the word as though it carried deeper meaning. Perhaps that trait explains why the Galactic Alliance sought to recruit humans. You do not accept the concept of impossible. Marcus met the instructor's gaze. We usually just find another way around it, sir. Thralks tilted his head slightly. Around it? Marcus chuckled. Actually, we prefer to go straight through. A few cadets exchanged uneasy glances. Others looked at Marcus with renewed respect, or concern. Thralks watched as Marcus returned to formation, blending back into the squad as if nothing extraordinary had happened. Yet for the first time in his long and decorated career, the instructor felt genuine uncertainty. If humanity could defeat an allegedly unstoppable organism using outdated technology, what other primitive solutions might they bring to conflicts the galaxy believed unsolvable? The thought lingered long after the simulation concluded. Later, inside the armory, Thralks made a private notation in the requisition log. Request human kinetic weaponry for further evaluation. He paused, reflecting on what he had witnessed. The galaxy had spent decades searching for a way to neutralize an unstoppable force, layering complexity upon complexity, building increasingly elaborate systems. And yet, the solution had been brutally simple. Sometimes he realized the answer to an unstoppable force was not an immovable object. It was a well-aimed bullet. Word of the incident spread quickly through the academy. Though officially classified as a routine training anomaly, whispers traveled fast among instructors, strategists, and high-ranking officers. Analysts replayed the footage repeatedly, unable to reconcile advanced alien defenses failing against such a basic method of attack. For Marcus Webb, however, life continued as usual. He attended drills, completed simulations, and followed orders like any other cadet. When questioned, he answered simply, never embellishing the story. It wasn't luck, he explained during a later debrief. It was understanding the problem. Void Reapers were designed to counter energy. Humans had learned long ago that not every problem required sophistication. Sometimes brute reality worked best. Thralks observed Marcus more closely in the days that followed. He noted the human's adaptability, creativity, and refusal to be intimidated by accepted limitations. Where others relied on doctrine, Marcus relied on logic. The instructor began incorporating unconventional scenarios into training modules, situations where standard solutions failed and cadets were forced to improvise. Performance across the board improved. Human recruits in particular thrived. Eventually, the Alliance approved limited field testing of kinetic weapons against Void Reaper encounters. The results were effective. What had once been considered obsolete technology was now under serious study. As for Marcus, he kept his grandfather's pistol secured, cleaning it meticulously after every exercise. When asked why he still carried it despite new Alliance-issued gear, his answer never changed. Because it works. In the vast expanse of a galaxy obsessed with innovation, humanity had reminded everyone of an old truth. Simplicity can be powerful. And sometimes, the oldest tools are the ones your enemy never sees coming.